Hello there friends, CS News Live here. In today's video, Na'Vi knocked out of the major, G2's last dance, Device potentially joining Falcons, and a recap of the elimination stage of the Shanghai major. Plus plenty of other exciting updates from the world of CS2, so without further ado, let's get straight to it. And my friends, I think we should kick things off with something cute and wholesome. So recently the fans came across an old photo of a young Snow standing next to Fallen as a fan. This photo is about 6 years old, taken back when Fallen was playing for MIBR. Interestingly, there's a similar photo featuring Zerofix with Fear and Monacy. Back then, Fear and Monacy were part of Na'Vi Jr., while Zerofix was just a regular fan. Fast forward a few years and Zerofix teamed up with Fear, and together they made it to the major. They're the new generation, my friends. And this all is pretty awesome, my friends, because it seems like CS is here to stay thanks to these guys. Speaking of fans, we couldn't skip over the recent controversy involving the major's audience and the fans themselves. So during the match between BIG and Pain, tabseN managed to flank 4 players. He had a real chance to clutch the round, potentially taking out all 4 of them and securing the win. However, just as he was about to make his move, the crowd erupted. Snow basically heard it, he turned around and took tabseN down. This moment proved to be a turning point that led to BIG losing the map and eventually being eliminated from the major. Later, Boomich shared an intriguing story about another match where Biguziera in a 1v1 clutch intentionally moved his crosshair around to figure out the opponent's position, basically waiting for the audience to respond. A similar situation occurred during the Gamer Legion vs Na'Vi game when, in a lost round for Na'Vi, ZTR began waving his crosshair across the connector area, trying to locate a Na'Vi player hidden in the smoke. This behavior upset many players and led to the tournament organizers disabling X-ray vision on the arena screens to prevent fans from giving away positions to the teams. While this change may reduce the emotional intensity of the matches, it ensures a fairer competition, so I kinda agree. By the way, if you want to stay on top of the action and soak up all the emotions and the information from the major, make sure to follow us on Twitter. The link is in the description. Here's a fun fact, guys. Mzinho follows us and watches us, and he's sending a shout out to you all.
Hello CS2 News readers, I'm Engineer from the Mongols, and we will do our best in playoffs, and Counter-Strike is the best game ever.
Meanwhile, another tournament organizer brought great news for the fans. The dates for the next Esports World Cup have been revealed. According to the organizers, the event will take place from August 20th to August 24th in 2025, once again in Riyadh. Additionally, the next year's prize pool will see a significant increase, totaling $1,250,000, with the champion taking home a whopping $500,000. And I think the teams will have to fight for this one, because $500,000, it's a significant boost in the Valve's rankings. Speaking of tournaments backed by the Sheiks, let's dive into an interesting story surrounding their team, Falcons. So Zonic recently gave a lengthy interview where he shared quite a few insights. The Danish coach began by stating that the team's current results are unacceptable for an organization of this caliber. He also admitted that throughout the season both he and Magisk missed having Spinks and Zaivu on the roster. Furthermore, Zonic revealed that from day one he knew that the current lineup was temporary and the changes were inevitable, a sentiment shared by the players themselves. Unfortunately, the players he truly wanted were out of reach. The team's morale took a major hit after failing to qualify for the Copenhagen Major, which shattered the players' belief in each other and in their ability to achieve anything significant. Here comes an interesting part. Zonic expressed regret, wishing he could go back in time and build a roster around Magisk, Snappy, and 3 young talents. But now he acknowledges that it's too late for that. Finally, Zonic took accountability for the team's struggles this year, admitting that part of the blame for the losses lies with him. He concluded by saying that as a coach, it's his responsibility to shoulder the team's failures. Continuing our discussion about Falcons, recent insider reports suggest that Device might join the team, potentially playing alongside Nico and Magisk. And you know what, my friends, this move seems desperate. Like, the coach basically seeks players that he trusts to collaborate with and secure victories, but I highly doubt it, in my opinion. And yeah, there are concerns regarding Device's current form. He's been focusing on recovering his mental health and is reportedly contemplating retirement. Signing Device could be a risky move given the uncertainty surrounding a player who might leave the team just days before crucial qualifiers, as he did with Astralis. In my opinion, again, it would be more prudent to focus on younger talents and build a roster around them. And the last thing about Falcons. So, you see, the young talent from G2, m0NESY, recently shared his thoughts about the team's current state. He mentioned that he's uncertain whether this is G2's last dance and prefers to not dwell on it during tournaments. Because basically everyone in the scene knows that Nico will leave G2 at the end of the year and join Falcons, and m0NESY can possibly follow suit. However, these speculations don't seem to affect G2's performance, as they've smoothly advanced to the major playoffs. Notably, G2's CEO hinted at Nico's departure, indicating that the org plans to build the roster around m0NESY, whose contract is still on until the end of 2025. Despite these swirling rumors, m0NESY and the team remain focused on the game, demonstrating resilience and determination in the recent matches. And now, my friends, let's wrap up the elimination stage of the Shanghai Major, and oh my, what a stage it was! In my opinion, this was the most intense and unforgettable part of the Major so far. The drama, the tension, the unreal highlights off the charts. Now, let's break down the teams that made it to the playoffs. We'll start with the teams that advanced without a single loss, meaning 3 O's. Surely the Mongols, they cruised through the armors, the opening stage, and now the elimination stage without dropping a single match. Just listen to it and think. The only teams that managed to challenge them were the Drillers and Heroic, while the rest were completely outplayed. This team deserves to go far in the bracket, and even Simple himself said that they play like major champions. The other flawless contender is Vitality. They remain a terrifying opponent, crushing everyone in their path. Zaivu is in incredible form, leaving no chance for the competition. And well, he's backed by the Pistol King Mezzy and the powerful Israeli duo of Spinks and Flames. And then there's Apex, who as always keeps the team fired up. I mean, friends, both the Mongols and Vitality have high chances of reaching the finals at least. They were just too good at this point. Next we have the teams that advanced with 3-1, and the first is G2. Their only loss coming at the hands of the Mongols. After that they faced somewhat easier opponents like BIG, 3D Max and, God forgive me, FaZe Clan. Because in that match it was really an easy walk for G2. Snax's gang showed strong stats throughout the tournament, with even Snax himself stepping up, delivering clutch performances to save the team in crucial moments. It's a solid result for a team that's likely to lose some of its star players really soon, but honestly, if it's a last dance, I think they feel no pressure, which helps them a lot, and might be a deciding factor in their further matches. Liquid also made it to the playoffs, surprisingly with 3-1. Just like G2, they only lost in the first match, where they fell to Na'Vi. But while they rebounded well, their performance wasn't that phenomenal. Sure, there were some flashy highlights and close moments, I mean, really close, literally, but they were also fortunate with their bracket matchups. Among the standouts, we see Nev, who ranks in the top 10 of the elimination stage players with a 1.22 rating across 6 maps. And Yikinder obviously also regained his confidence, probably because of his gaming pose, but who am I to judge, right? Drop a like if you can't comprehend how Yikinder's plays like that. Also, Team Spirit advanced with a 3-1 record. delivered, providing some of the most exciting matches to watch. After a painful loss to Fury in the opening match, they rallied and dominated their opponents. And not just anyone. Their games against Na'Vi and Heroic were particularly memorable. Against Na'Vi, the Dragons closed out the game with a crushing 13-2. And against Heroic, Donk delivered the highlight of his career, and arguably of all CS2 to be honest, with an insane 1v5 clutch on the major stage. This moment was so legendary that Norbert from Virtus.Pro promised to shave his head if Donk pulled it off. And so Donk did it. Now we're just waiting to see bold Norbert. But honestly guys, Donk isn't the only star here. Shiro also has been in spectacular form, making Spirit a nearly unstoppable force. Most opponents will have little chance of beating them. Now let's talk about the teams with 3-2s. First, FaZe advanced with such a score, which many expected given their recent inconsistent performance and the looming roster changes. Despite the uncertainty, Rain and Frozen delivered stellar performances once again, while Brokey left the fence with some unanswered questions. Statistically, none of their players made it to the top 8 by rating, much like the team itself, but they're still in the playoffs, so I guess we will see. And yeah, Mouse. They were considered among the tournament favorites, but they also have 3-2. Both Torji and Yimhat showed impressive gameplay. However, first they won against Pain, which was good, and then they suffered early losses to the Mongols and FaZe, which put them on the brink of elimination. Still, they managed to recover and defeated 3D Max and MIBR, securing their spot in the major playoffs. And the last team to qualify was Heroic. Honestly, not widely expected to make it. Their season was marked by inconsistent results, partially due to Dexter being unavailable for some tournaments requiring roster adjustments. Or honestly, their chemistry sucked. However, they did well, to be honest. First, they performed well at IEM Rio, and then they secured the playoff spot at the major. Along the way, they had intense matches against the Mongols and Team Spirit, but the cherry on top was the last game against Na'Vi, which was super unexpected but super deserved for Heroic. And now, my friends, some honorable mentions. Arguably the tournament's biggest underdog, Gamer Legion, entered the major through the RMRs, barely qualifying. They fought to their blood, but they were pretty resilient and earned their respect. Flamus was the breakout star, showcasing his potential to the world. It's clear that bigger teams, like for example Virtus.Pro, who need some changes, will be eyeing Flamus, but Gamer Legion seems determined to hold on to their rising star. Another team to exceed expectations was MIBR. The Brazilians impressed many, but were undone by their own success. They defeated Na'Vi in a crucial best-of-1, basically meaning that they took down the top-ranked team. Their Buchholz score forced them to face tougher opponents, including Vitality and Liquid, so they basically dug a hole for themselves. But anyways, MIBR did great, so kudos to them. And obviously guys, the biggest shock of the whole tournament was the elimination of Na'Vi. The reigning champions failed to make it to the playoffs, and the reasons honestly were kinda evident. First, they narrowly defeated Liquid, made costly mistakes against MIBR, and fell short against Spirit. Then they had the outsiders in Gamer Legion, and beating them was honestly expected. But against Heroic, Na'Vi were just outclassed. Losing Mirage in that way, honestly, it's not the Na'Vi I remember. It felt like something broke, like it wasn't Na'Vi. But I don't know, maybe you guys can suggest what happened to Na'Vi in the comments below, maybe you can help me. Anyways, Captain Aleksib took the responsibility for the loss. He admitted that he let the team down and he will improve the game. JL echoed his sentiment, sharing a heartfelt statement thanking the fans and revealing the mental struggles he faced during the season. According to JL, the more he played and won, the harder it became to cope with the emotional toll. He expressed the need to address these challenges before returning to his peak form. But guys, to be honest, despite the early exit, Na'Vi's year was incredible. They won the first major with an international roster nobody believed in. Then they proved it wasn't a fluke with strong performances in other tournaments. And while they didn't secure a second major title, they've earned a well-deserved break. Here, whether or not roster changes are in store, one thing is certain: rest is crucial for the player's recovery and future success. And that's all for today, my friends. Thank you for watching. No more 40-minute videos. Once again, thank you, hit the like button, follow our channel if you're not still, and don't forget to leave a comment in the comments below about whatever you like, because it helps us develop a lot. I'm not saying goodbye for a long time, guys. See you soon.